Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today we're going to talk about hospice billing. But before I jump into this, I just want to let you know that if you would like to find more information about today's video in a written form, this will be turned into a blog just like all my other videos on my website at www.integralclinicsolutions.com, and you'll click on the link for the blog section. There you'll be able to find everything in writing that we're talking about today, and there might even be some useful links, so check it out. All right, on to hospice billing. Now let me start by saying I am not a certified biller and coder. I am not here to give you advice on how to specifically bill, but I am going to bring up some topics that I want you to investigate further if this applies to you. Hospice billing is not for everybody. Not everybody bills for seeing patients who are enrolled in hospice. And when I say hospice billing, I don't mean that you're a hospice service and you're billing for hospice services. I'm talking about if you have patients that you see that are on hospice. I think people get really confused about that, so I wanted to clarify that as well. All right, so if you are a practice that has patients who are enrolled in hospice, there are certain things that you need to be aware of when it comes to billing out their services. People are enrolled in hospice for certain diagnoses and reasons. Any visit or service offered that is related to the reason why they're on hospice is covered and billed to hospice insurance, or the equivalent of hospice insurance. If it's something outside of that, like let's say somebody is on hospice for congestive heart failure, but they have a UTI. Most likely that's not going to be related to the congestive heart failure. Maybe it is, maybe they're on a diuretic and they're urinating a lot and they're incontinent, but I'm getting way off topic here. But you see what I'm saying. It could be, but we're going to go high level. UTI, totally separate. Then that would be billed to, if they're on Medicare, it would be billed to their Part B plan, their Part C plan if they have Med Advantage, and their supplement plan if they have a supplement plan with Medicare Part B. If it is related to the diagnosis in which they are on hospice, then you would need to indicate that with the proper modifiers. If you're not sure what the modifiers are, make sure you look those up. But that modifier on those codes is indicating that this service is related to why they're on hospice, and those claims will go directly to Medicare. If they have a Medicare insurance, then it goes directly to Medicare for hospice services. There's also the modifier that says it's not related to the hospice reason for admission. So you need to look up these specific modifiers around hospice patient statuses so that you know what needs to be used when. And you also need to understand where claims need to go depending on if it's hospice diagnosis related or not. Most people who are on hospice are on Medicare. You will find people who are not. But for the Medicare patients, like I said, if they have some Part C plan, like Blue Cross Blue Shield Advantage or AARP Advantage, but it's a hospice diagnosis related, it would need to go to just straight Medicare. Medicare of Oregon, Medicare of Washington, Medicare of California. And then everything else would go to their actual insurance. And I know this can be really confusing, but it's really important if you have a large volume of patients who have been admitted to hospice or could be on hospice, that you have an internal biller coder who understands this process. I can't tell you how many claims get rejected or denied by insurances because they have noticed that the patient's on hospice, but you didn't bill it correctly, or you didn't send it to the correct place. It's essential that you know this. Where it gets really tricky is if you're seeing patients in long-term care facilities and you're not maybe quite sure why they're on hospice, or maybe you don't find out that they were admitted to hospice in between your visits. And that's where things can get tricky, because if nobody's communicating to you at the facility that they've been admitted to hospice and you haven't received any documentation or correspondence indicating that, then you wouldn't know. And it's hard to bill something you don't understand. But if you can try to avoid that at all costs and set up a good internal workflow, communication between the long-term facilities, etc., you would be sitting a lot better. And remember, denials, rejections, they delay the money coming into your practice. And depending on how long it takes you to see the rejection and denial, work the rejection and denial, and send out another clean claim, it could take a while, and you want to avoid that. You want first pass claims going through that are clean so you can get your money as fast as possible. Again, I'm just doing a really high level overview. I'm not a certified biller or coder, but this is something a lot of people aren't aware of. So I just want to put it out there so that if you do see a lot of patients who are admitted to a hospice service, you kind of know what you're getting into and kind of workflows, SOPs, things you need to look out for in your practice and establish to avoid issues downstream. If you have any questions or comments about that, please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Take care, be well, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.